What is up, team? So today we have an epic barn find. Okay, it's really of a garage find, but you know, barn find has that heart thumping and it's kind of fun. But anyways, this find is a really rare 356A Super. It's a 1959 and it is just an amazing find for the Porsche community, the car community, collecting the community. The fact that these are still out there and still being found is amazing. Now, this one was found by Randy Carlson, and this car is set since the 1980s, 1985, if I remember right. And I mean, just look at this thing. When you're looking at this car, I mean, Randy has to go through all these boxes and all these things to get through, and you can't even see it until the light flickers on, and you're just like, wow, that is amazing. Now, once that garage pops open, you've got to admit this is a special find. I am curious if this is all 100% original. I'm looking at the interior and I can kind of see some things that are not, but definitely let me know down below if you're spotting some other things besides the interior. But if you look at this, the body is straight, the minimal rust underneath, and it's been parked forever by the owner that bought it years and years ago. So this thing, I think, is a very important find to us Porsche files, as sometimes we're referred to, because it reiterates that these cars are really special, but they're still out there. This one was found in California, and of course California cars have a reputation of not having much rust, being really well taken care of because the car scene that is out there. But again, it's just this drives home that these things are still out there and you can still find these amazing barn finds or garage finds. This Porsche 356 is, I think, a big win for our community. The Porsche scene, I think, should really enjoy this and look at this as just an epic find, because now this is going to be out in the streets again, hopefully not in a museum or redone in someone's private collection. I hope we see these things at Cars and Coffee. I hope we see this driving out in the wild. I have never seen one out in the streets actually being driven. I've seen it at Monterey Car Week. I've seen some pretty rundown ones in garages, but I've never seen one out in the wild actually running. That'd be really cool to see this going out there. I would be curious if you're looking at the engine on this thing, if it is original. Now, you look at the numbers Randy gives us, but you can see the carbs obviously are different, and I would be curious, maybe back in the day they swapped them out. It's a pretty common thing to do, especially in the 80s. It wasn't, out of the norm yet. I would definitely be interested. So if anybody knows down below, can look that number up and say, hey, is this engine out of a 1959 356A Super? I think that would be a really interesting fact to know. Or better yet, if you can tell me what the value is of it setting right now, I would be shocked if this thing was less than, I don't know, what, 350K? Am I wrong? Tell me below in the comments. All right, let's look at this video. I mean, look at the dust that's piled up. This thing is obviously set down forever, hasn't been driven since the 80s, and you know what? The owner is really tied to the car. He even admits to having some special connections with it. And I thought the really cool spot is when you're going through the interior, the dash looks phenomenal. Yes, it was redone at some point, but it looks really good for what it was done with. And the cool part is they pull out this camera from the 70s. I mean, how nostalgic is that? Now let's jump into this and watch this car a little bit more so you guys can get an understanding of how special and how straight this body is.
When did you buy this car?
75.
75. That's quite a while. And where was it? Was it here in California?
It's up in Citrus Heights.
Citrus Heights. So is that
Sacramento
area? Gotcha. Fantastic. And so you drove it obviously until 85. And then why did you park it?
I retired.
Okay.
I retired in 84.
All right. So you didn't have a need for it? And
all right, guys, so that concludes this video on the Porsche 356 1600 Super. I think this thing is a really special find for the car community, the Porsche community. If you're a Porsche fan, I think this is something special. It means a lot. I love seeing these things being found again. I love seeing old barn finds. Doesn't matter if it's some old Porsche or if it's some old Corvette. I love seeing these, and I love seeing these classic cars being brought back on the road. Tell me what you think below in the comments. Is this something that's super special, or am I just blowing this up? All right, guys, if you're new to the channel, definitely go subscribe. Hit that like button. It helps me grow. I love interacting with all the car community. I just want to talk more about cars, more about Porsches, more about really anything in general. Definitely go find me on Instagram. All the details are down in the description. Until next time, keep passionate and keep driving. Let's go.